Hey everyone, we're backstage again with Jim McCoy, AVP from Nationwide. We're going to be talking about all things sports marketing and sponsorships. We're backstage at the 6th annual Brand Innovators Sports Marketing Upfronts and Summit here in sunny Scottsdale, Arizona. We're thrilled to have you here, Jim.
It's great to be here. Beautiful day.
Oh yeah, when'd you get into town?
Yesterday afternoon, and feels like I've been here like 3 days already with as much that we've packed in, but it's always a fun week. Get to see a lot of our partners in person and have a lot of fun.
Such is the whirlwind of Super Bowl week, right? Well, we really appreciate you being here, spending a little bit of time with us, sharing with our community. Before we dive in, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, your remit within the organization?
Yeah, Jim, so lead all sports marketing for Nationwide and our talent relationships. Been with the company almost 20 years. We're insurance financial service organization and a Fortune 80 company that has been pretty active in the sports world, and it's been a really fun role to really lead that effort, measure that effort, and get into different relationships, including the NFL.
Fantastic. Well, let's dive right in. At all of these big industry events, there's always different buzzwords that go on. We were at CES in Vegas just a month ago, and everything was about the metaverse or AI, right? You couldn't escape it. Here this week, it's been all about cultural relevance and chasing this elusive, moment within culture to kind of be on top of mind for consumers. So my first question is a two-parter for you. Can you tell me, what does that mean to you? What does cultural relevance mean to you? And is it important for brands to be culturally relevant to sell what they're selling?
Yeah, I think that culturally relevant just means, to me, just that your consumer is going to have a general sense of who you are, and you've broken through in some way that connects positively or negatively in some way. But I think it's an interesting question for us, and is it important to Nationwide? I would say when we got into our NFL relationship 9 years ago, very important, and we were trying to build the brand in a way and connect with the NFL fan base. We had Peyton Manning that we launched the Jingle campaign, and Chicken Parm You Taste So Good all of a sudden was showing up on Saturday Night Live and Jeopardy and all these places that all Nationwide became this more culturally relevant brand, thanks to obviously the most one of the most powerful sports figures in all sports. So I think as our company has evolved over the last few years, I'd say it's probably less of an importance to us as our distribution. So it depends on what business you're in. So on the insurance side, we're now more of an intermediated company that we're selling our products and services through agents and financial professionals, and we need to be relevant clearly with that audience, and so our tactics have shifted to make sure that we're talking to that group in a way that they know who you are, they trust us, they connect with us. We'll still need to connect with the general consumer and keep the brand relevant, but I would say that focus has shifted a little bit.
Oh, that makes sense. So kind of continuing on that path for a second, one of the hottest topics and debates and controversial conversations going on is on performance versus brand, and which the role and the balance between the two, and the pendulum swinging all over the place. Sports marketing, whether it's Super Bowl advertising and the big spot, or just sports marketing conceptually, has typically maybe been thought of more for brand purposes. But as that, like I said, that pendulum swinging wildly, what do you look for when you're measuring the effectiveness and looking for the impact? Are you looking primarily still at brand, or how do you think about the effectiveness of the work that you're leading?
Yeah, it really depends on the sponsorship, but we have always three core areas and objectives. It's brand, and so how are you doing unaided brand awareness, familiarity, consideration. It's what business are you actually driving through the relationship, and it can be direct sales like a 401k plan we sold through the Kansas City Chiefs because of this partnership, or the lift of the guests that we have out here hosting at the Super Bowl and what they're going to do coming out of that. And then there's this community philanthropic side that all of our relationships have something more that we do, like the Walter Payton Man of the Year or the Nationwide Children's Hospital donations that my team raises $6 million a year through different golf tournaments and other events on that. So we're tracking all of those different areas, and if you're going to buy a Super Bowl spot, obviously that's really more brand and breakthrough and splash, which we have done. But a lot of our focus has shifted to more of what direct sales can we have attributed coming out of these relationships.
It's always about the bottom line, right?
Yep.
So let's kind of keep that going for a second, because we're talking about just conceptually around sports marketing. A lot has changed in the last few years, not just viewing habits and things that are enabled by new technologies or new younger viewers kind of watching and engaging with the different sports in new ways. The pandemic changed our habits. How has the business of sports marketing evolved alongside those changes?
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey, and even my time. So I've been in sports 20 years. Last again, 17 or 18 with Nationwide, and I think just where we started, a lot of feet on the ground and lead generation and these huge mobile marketing displays that we'd travel all over the country. A lot of expense and a lot of effort to drive, what we were hoping was going to be business. And now fast forward to how we're activating the Super Bowl with, and we just launched TikTok as an organization last night with Walter Payton Men of the Year content, really trying to tap into social digital activation. PR this morning with players, and so it's connecting with audiences in a different way versus, maybe there's some of that, fan engagement activity on the ground, but most of it is shifted to that digital
That makes
space.
a lot of sense. All right, well, last question, maybe the most important one. You take the football, gifted to us by our friends at Wilson Sporting Goods. Who you got, Chiefs or Eagles?
I'm an AFC guy, but I've got to go with the Eagles. They've been the best team all season long. My boss is also a huge Eagles fan, so
there
we'll all be in a better spot if they win. But they just have their offensive and defensive line are really solid, and I definitely would have to go with the Eagles.
All right. Well, like I said, we're going to check back these videos. We're going to score all of our speakers, see how you did making these projections, and maybe ESPN's next for you. I don't know.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much for being here, sharing with us, and spending your time in the busiest week of the year. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Have a great week.
All right.